Hey everyone, in this video we are going to talk about our study island blue ribbon assignment, operations with polynomials or polynomial expressions. What we are going to do is pretty much the same thing as the IXL assignments. We are going to add, subtract, multiply polynomials. One thing that you need to know for especially study island assignment is that polynomials are closed under addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Here's what that means. Being closed means when you put them together using the given operation, for example, addition. Whatever you put together, the final product is going to be the same kind. For example, let's say you are dealing with integers, okay? When you add two integers, such as 5 and 7, the answer is 12, which is just another integer. There's no way that it cannot be an integer when you add them together. Same thing with polynomials. When you add, subtract, and multiply the polynomials, the answer will always be a polynomial. That means they are closed. Polynomials are closed under addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So it is not closed under division because, let me give you a quick example. This is a polynomial because the power of the variable is at least 0, 1, 2, and so on. So the power of this variable is 1, even if you don't see anything. So it is not less than 0. That's my point. Let's say this is our first polynomial, and let's give it a name, px. And then let's say we have a second polynomial, x squared. When we divide them, let's say we want to do qx over px. I'm going to start with qx, which is x squared, and then divide it by x. That's what it means. Don't get confused because of px and qx's. So that's just label, okay? X squared over x, the answer is going to be x. Here's why. X squared means multiply the x by itself, divided by another x. These are going to be cancelled out. The answer is x. That's still a polynomial because the power of the answer is 1. It's not less than 0. But here's the problem. Division is not going to give you a polynomial all the time. For example, let's find p of x divided by q of x. P is x, q equals to x squared. Division, dividing the same base, requires you to subtract the powers. We have been doing this for weeks now. So keep the base the same, put the first power, and then minus the second one in the denominator. So x to the power of -1. Since the power now is less than 0, this is not a polynomial. So if you're going to claim that they are going to be closed under such an operation, there should not be a contradiction. We cannot even have one counterexample. The answer should always be from that kind. When we add, subtract, and multiply, these are always going to give us polynomials. So that's one thing to remember, especially with your blue ribbon and the quiz. Okay, let's take a look at this first example. It just says simplify. That means combine like terms. That's what it means. Or it could have said add these two polynomials by giving this one in the first line as like px and then qx equals to this. It could have said like what's px plus qx. That sort of a thing. You would do the same thing. Now, if you go through this method, it tells you to distribute the addition sign across the second polynomial like this. That's not what I do. If you want to go ahead and do it, I don't care. I really don't. If you feel like that's easier, go ahead and do it. So what I do is I just focus on the like terms one at a time. For example, I have x squared over here, right? And then there's x squared over here. These are like terms. I will combine those numbers by doing whatever the sign in between them. That's the most important part, and that's the part that many students struggle with, especially when we start doing the subtraction. It's not a problem now. So I have 3 plus 5, right? If you need to write it on the side, okay? And that number equals to 8. So the answer to this is going to be 8x squared. That's my first term. You keep the variable, combine the numbers. Next, I'll move on to the next term. There's positive 4x over here, and then negative 2x. What am I doing with these two? I am adding them. So that's the sign that goes in between them. So it's like I'll add two things. The first one is a positive 4x. You can just put 4 because that's the first number. You don't need to put a plus in front of it. Then the second number is going to be negative 2. If you can do this mentally, go ahead and do it. You don't need to write them down. 4 plus negative 2 equals to positive 2. This was 8. That's how many x I have. I have positive 2x. Because that's what their variables are. Positive 2x. Since it is not the first term, it is the second term, I cannot just put a 2 in there. I need to put that plus right there between the terms. The last thing I'm going to do, I'll combine the third terms because they are like terms. This one is just a number. That one is just a number. One is negative, the other one is positive, and then I will add them. That's my sign in between them. I need to put that sign. I just make sure you put that sign, because when it becomes a negative, it becomes a problem because you don't put that sign, and then you try to combine the numbers by thinking that it should be adding. No, if it says subtract, you got to put that negative sign in between. So the first number is negative 7 plus the second number is positive 4. I already have the plus in here. It is kind of pointless to do it like this, but if you want to, go ahead and do it. It's not going to be wrong anyways, but I just want to keep it clean and simple, and I'll say plus 4, because if you don't put a negative, that means it is positive anyways. Negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. If you need to use a calculator for any of these, go ahead and use it. If you don't know how to add them together, which you should have known by now, use a calculator. Don't try to guess them, because this is gonna, like, especially with the study island assignments, you don't get to solve like hundreds of questions. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. Not like Excel. So pay attention to adding, subtracting, multiplying. Don't make those small mistakes. And that's my number. It doesn't have any variable attached to it, so it is negative 3. This would be my final answer. Or you can follow whatever the method is in here. Let's move on to the second example where we subtract. This is the part that it becomes a problem, because if you don't put that negative sign in between your terms, in between your like terms. It says simplify, which means combine like terms. So here are my like terms. The first terms are like terms because their variables are x squared, right? So focus on the numbers. But before that, what am I doing in here? Am I adding? Am I subtracting? So right here, it literally tells me to subtract. So in each one of the like terms, in between each like terms, put that negative sign. So if you put that first, you cannot make a mistake, because in the future, if you don't put it first, you're going to start doing this, 6 plus 2. You're going to forget that it was negative. So I put that subtraction symbol in there, and then 6x squared, and then that's my negative subtraction symbol, and then minus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. That's how many x squared I have. I have 4x squared. Just focus on the like terms. 4x squared. Or you can just distribute this and then have all these things over here. That looks more complicated to me. If you like it better, go ahead and use it. So the second thing that I want to do is I'll combine the x's together, right? I have positive 4x minus, because I'm going to subtract, negative 2x. So positive 4, since it is my first number, I don't need to put a plus in front of it. I'm subtracting, that's my subtraction symbol, and then the number that I'm subtracting is -2. Okay, so it's okay if you don't put that parentheses in there, but make sure that you know that it becomes a positive. It'll become a positive. So 4 plus 2 is 6. That's how many x I'll have, plus 6x. The last thing that I'll do is the numbers. Combine the numbers together. -7 is my first number. If it is negative, always put it in there. It's unlike positives. And then I am subtracting, so I need to have that negative symbol in there. And then the last number is +4. You can either do it this way, or you can put that 4 in a parentheses and make it like this. But it's going to be more complicated. What's the point of it? So I would like to keep it this way. The answer is going to be the same anyway, whether you have it in the other format or not. -7 minus 4 is -11. So that's my number in the end. So yeah, that would be my answer for this question. Let's just move on to the next one. Example 3. It tells you about the FOIL method. Okay. And we are going to use the rules of exponentials. When we have the same base, when we multiply, we add the exponents. When we divide, we subtract the exponents with the same base. But we are not going to divide anything. So the FOIL method is right in here. I want to use that square table kind of thing, because that is usually less work for me. When I explain it, I don't use a table when I solve these questions. Just making sure that you know that. So 3x and 4 are the first terms, and then x and -2 are the others. So first multiply these two. 3 times 1x, this is 1x, the numbers are 1 and 3, multiply them, you get 3, x times x is x squared. And now let's multiply, let me fix this. What happened? Wait a second. This is taking a while, sorry about that. Need to fix this first. Okay, I think it's as good as the new one. Let me see. Okay. So now let's focus on these two. 4 times x is 4x. Let's focus on these two. 3 times -2 is -6. Keep the x. And then let's multiply these two. 4 times -2 is -8. And then combine the like terms. Usually the ones in here are going to be your like terms. Usually. You're not going to have like terms all the time, but most of the time you will have the like terms. -6 and +4. These are your numbers. Combine them together. -2x. Bring everything down. 3x squared is the first term. The middle term is -2x. The last term is -8. Use either one of the methods. I really don't care what method you use. If you can do them without using any method, just by looking at them, that's fine as well. What I usually do is I'm just looking at this, and then 3x squared minus 6x plus 4x minus 8, and then I combine these two, -2x minus 8, and then 3x squared. I just bring them down. So that's what I do, and I kind of foil it. I foil it in my mind and then write the answer. If you have enough practice, you can do it that way without doing any of these work, like these ones or the table or whatever that method is called. It's totally up to you. So let's see if there is any other examples in the next pages. I think this was all. Okay, and then there are videos that can help you. The videos are from Khan Academy. If you need any help, just make sure to get on the notes on Study Island and then switch the pages, find those videos, watch them if you feel like you need that help. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video.